every place we go to, the first time someone sees our machine, I mean, their jaws drop because it is a really cool looking machine. I mean, it's a big video screen of a pitcher winding up and the ball comes out. Everyone's like, wow, man, that's so cool.
Hello there, it's Rick Nusky. This is the My Future Business Show. I hope you're doing really well. It's so great to have you back with us, joining us on the show. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. Not sure how you found the show, but I'm so glad that you did, because today you are in for a treat. Now, I'm an avid sports person. I love sports of all kinds, so this is a really great time for my background. And we're going to explore some amazing topics with the wonderful Mr. Adam Battersby. Welcome to the show, Adam.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Now, you are the President and VP of Sales and Marketing at Probatter Sports, and you and I are going to be talking about how this game-changing sports technology has not only revived the love of baseball and other sports, but it's helping thousands of players improve their on-field performance. Now, as I've just tied in earlier, I've loved cricket personally for the longest time, and I've always wondered to myself, geez, I wish I could get better at that, or I wish I had a better stance. And I always remember, thinking there's got to be a better way to do all this. And we're obviously going to be talking at length about this particular topic, Adam. But first of all, tell us where you're calling in from today.
Yeah, I'm calling from Milford, Connecticut, which is right outside New Haven, where Yale University is.
Fantastic. Is that home for you, or do you travel there for work? How's it work for you?
Yeah, I actually live about 30 miles south in Norwalk, Connecticut, which is about 45 miles north of New York City.
What do you like about the place where you live?
What do I like about it?
Yeah.
It's a nice area, although it's getting a little congested, actually, and it's getting very expensive. So other than that, it's a really nice area.
Yeah, well, tell us a little bit about, life growing up, because I think the My Future Business Show separates itself from others because we talk not only about the nuts and bolts of business, but about the people that run the business. Tell us about life growing up.
Yeah, so growing up, I was always a big sports fan. My father was always my baseball coach, which was pretty cool. He always, trying to teach me, all about baseball, all about technique and all that stuff. And growing up, we also had a batting cage in our backyard with a generic two-wheel pitching machine. And that's kind of where this whole pro batter idea came from, in the backyard heading against that pitching machine.
Yeah, well, it's Greg's your father, isn't it? That's his name?
Yes, Greg, yep.
So I know he had a lot of involvement with Pro Batter, and I'd love to talk about that momentarily. But, who are other people in your life that do you think, in those formative years had an impact on you, who were influential in your life? Do you have people like that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely both my parents. They're always there for me growing up, which was very nice. I would say a lot of my sport coaches. There's a few really good coaches I had growing up, especially in high school, that taught me a lot of good life lessons, and I think they were definitely a big part of who I am today.
There's a lot of, separation about the My Future Business Show and the way we approach it, Adam, in terms of giving new and up-and-comer startups and entrepreneurs, those who want to be like yourself. Tell me, is it important to have people around you that you can learn from, mentors and things like that, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would surround yourself with as many, with as many people as you can, especially, fellow entrepreneurs, just people who've done very well for themselves, positive people.
Yep.
Definitely, yeah, 100%.
Did you ever have days where you thought, "Oh wow, this is getting hard, and I don't know if I can do it"? What do you say about mindset?
You gotta just, basically work through it. I mean, there's days like that always come around, and and it's not uncommon, and you gotta just work through it and remember and remind yourself of why you started, and usually the next day or after a good night's sleep, it's it's back to normal. So it's tough. I mean, running a small business is definitely tough, especially in this day and age with parts and expenses and all that stuff. But you got to remind yourself why you started.
Yeah, absolutely. Great feedback. Thank you. Now, you just touched on sleep, and I think about routine, and I think about how important it is for me to get a good night's sleep. Are you an early riser?
I am up at 5 a.m. Monday through Friday, and then I sleep in to about 6:30 on the weekend.
Yes, beautiful. I love it. Now, what happens on a day like today? What's a typical work day look like for you?
Yeah, so like I said, up at 5
Yep.
at the gym, get a good sweat in early, then come home, help get the kids ready for school or camp, and then I usually get in around, just say usually about 9, just because I have to drop the kids off, and then go through emails, go through reports, sales calls, put out any fires,
Yep.
see how everything else is going in the business, and then it's always something else comes up from there.
Yeah, isn't there just? No, I always think about the 80-20 rule. I think what are the top 20 things that any entrepreneur should be looking at during their day? And please don't say email.
Unfortunately, email's always there.
It's always there, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to be looking at the future and the present, and remind yourself where you are, or see where you are, and remind yourself where you have to be and what you have to do to get there. And
Yep.
I constantly make lists. I constantly go back to my lists, and see how close I am and what I accomplished, and hold myself accountable. And that's what you got to do.
When I was growing up, I remember walking around the suburbs and trying to make some money, and I would do anything from selling cookies to washing cars and mowing lawns. What was your first entrepreneurial experience?
Well, my first job, let me see. I think it was I was making bagels.
Bagels. Wow.
Called Beaver's Bagels. They were excellent bagels in high school.
Yeah. What do you think you've learned? What's the one big thing you learned just about being an entrepreneur? Do you think?
It's tough. It is a long day. You're very scattered. You're very scattered. I mean, one day, for example, this week I just got a call from a guy coming down from Canada to see machines, and then you got to scramble, get all your stuff done before that because it's going to take a lot of your time. You got to clean the office. You're all over the place. One day you're cleaning toilets, the next day you're answering phones and talking to Major League Baseball general managers. It's just your
Yeah.
day always changes, and you gotta be flexible with that.
It's a crazy business model. I love it. I've looked and researched quite deeply into Probatter and all the wonderful things that it's doing. Now, I'd love to go back to, I guess, the genesis of your journey, especially when it comes to your father, Greg, because I know he helped you improve not only your game but also the Probatter business. Would you mind talking a little bit about that part of your journey?
Yeah, so basically, I'll tell you how it started. So it started, in our batting cage growing up in our backyard, and we had a two-wheel pitching machine.
Yep.
It's a Jugs two-wheel pitching machine,
Yep.
and the way it works is, you hold the ball in your hand, you raise it up so the batter sees, and then you drop it in the wheels. Sometimes the ball goes through smoothly, sometimes it doesn't. So sometimes it's hard to time the ball coming out right.
Yep.
And then when you want to change the pitches from, say, a fastball to a curveball, you have to adjust the dials, which are the wheel speeds in the pitching machine. You have to tilt the pitch head of it. You have to test pitches. So at that point, you know what's coming. There's no guessing. You know what pitch is coming,
Yep.
and you have to simply just know where to put your baseball bat to hit the ball. You don't
Hmm.
learn basically how to improve. So from there, we took it one step further. We came up with a three-wheel pitch machine with more realistic breaks and curves, created a whole pitch database, and controlled the pitching machine by a big color touchscreen. So you have 10 different pitches, any speed from 40 to 100 miles an hour, any location inside and outside the strike zone. You can do sequences. You can do repeat a pitch. And that's what basically started. And then me and my dad originally started it. I was in college, graduated in 2001, and then started off in sales, and then worked my way up to running it, which has been a fun journey.
I bet. Now I remember, like I mentioned earlier, in indoor cricket training when the weather was bad, you still had the ability to use this machine, but all it was, in my experience, was two small tires, and you'd
Yeah.
shove a ball in between it. And I thought to myself, inherently, this is unsafe. Now, with your system, clearly there's none of that exposure. Would that be fair?
Yeah, so there's a big video screen in front of the pitching machine. It shows a whole video windup of a pitcher or a bowler for cricket, run up or wind up before the ball comes out of a small hole in the video screen. So the machine's all protected by that video screen, and yeah, and it's a three-wheel pitching machine, like I said earlier. So it has a little bit more. It's more sophisticated than the two-wheel machine. It allows for
Absolutely.
better breaks and curves and more realistic pitches.
Now, I know that the ones that I used to use are nothing like your proprietary system. They weren't too portable. Tell us a little bit about the portability and the types of sports that can benefit from this.
Well, the machine actually is not very portable because it's kind of heavy and there's a barrel feeder attached to it and a video
Mm-hmm.
screen and all that stuff. But we are now coming out with more portable machines because the newer model is a lot smaller. We actually installed a machine in a high school in Minnesota, and the high school had a shared space. They shared the space in the gymnasium with the basketball team. So we put the whole system on big caster wheels. So after they use it after practice, they could just wheel it off to the storage location. So that was pretty cool, actually. It was a pretty cool setup that they made over there.
Yeah, I noticed because I saw on some of the literature that you had the system on trailers. Is that still happening? Is that how it
Yeah,
works?
so we actually have in our back parking lot, we have a small trailer with the machine in the back and a big inflatable batting cage that comes out. We have a generator too hooked up to it, so you can essentially bring it anywhere you want, whether it be tournaments or birthday parties or corporate outings. It's a cool machine. You take on the road, you show more people what we can offer, and it helps bring in a little bit of money as well, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Always very nice. Now I can see a wide range of people being interested in this. You've obviously talked about businesses who are not necessarily sports people. Obviously, you've got the local teams that would get a lot of use out of this. What's the take up been like?
Yeah, so basically we sell to a wide range. We sell to like commercial batting cages, training centers, high schools, colleges, Major League Baseball players. And we've been actually doing a lot of home installations too, or semi-private installations. Sometimes people put it in their basements. Sometimes people put it in their factories if they have extra warehouse space. So that's been a nice little market for us.
So what? Coming back to the pitches you were talking about, you talked about the 10 different types of pitches, or I don't know, is there 10? How many actual pitching types are there?
Yeah, so we have 10 different pitches that we offer. So it's a fastball, curveball, changeup, slider, a slurve, cutter, splitter, sinker, and also a curve too, which is more of a 12 to 6 curveball, so it breaks more vertically, like a Kershaw curveball almost.
So everything's covered from A to Z, you could say.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that we don't offer is a knuckleball just because it waffles so much, so it's kind
Yeah.
of hard to control it and pinpoint your accuracy like the other pitches.
Yep.
Um, Knuckleball is a pretty wild pitch, though.
Yeah, I know that from the video that I've seen promoting the product that you've had some pretty significant type of players using this and endorsing
Yeah.
it. Tell us about your relationship with those types of people.
Yeah, so we have about 25 machines or sold about 25 machines to professional baseball, both major and minor leagues.
Mm.
We sold to a bunch of players, big name and smaller name players, which has been a lot of fun dealing with. And in the cricket side, we sold to Cricket Australia, two machines to them, the ECB in the UK, the ICC, which is the International Cricket Council in Dubai, New Zealand, Australia. We sold a lot of machines over there, and that's been a really cool market that we never thought existed or we never planned on. So when it came about, it was cool. We had to learn the sport, but it was definitely a lot of fun doing it.
Well, the beauty of shows like this is that they're obviously global, so hopefully we can extend that reach for you and get some more market penetration, as it were. Now, tell me a little bit about the other sports that your products can be useful for.
Yeah, so right now we just do three: the baseball, softball, and cricket.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is by far and away our biggest sport, but we just came out with a newer machine a couple of years ago, which is a lower price machine, which has really opened up the softball market a lot. Um, so those three sports are the main ones, but we have looked into other sports as well, and maybe down the road we'll look to explore those sports a little bit more.
There seems to be an opportunity for, I guess, an up and coming entrepreneur to sort of hire and lease this type of system. Would that be a good fit for somebody who's into sports?
Yeah, we actually have a couple of our customers buy these machines and they place them locally, and then they do a revenue share or pay by pitch kind of scenario. So it's almost like an ATM scenario. You buy the ATM and then you place them all over. Granted, it is a little bit more expensive than an ATM, but it's
Mm.
definitely a good revenue source.
You started out with your father with this idea, and you're taking it step by step. What's it make you feel like when you see it being used out in the field, and to see the realization of a dream?
It's pretty cool, to be honest. I mean, every place we go to, the first time someone sees our machine, I mean, their jaws drop because it is a really cool looking machine. I mean, it's a big video screen of a pitcher winding up and the ball comes out. Everyone's like, "Wow, man, that's so cool." So it's been wild. And then some of the bigger name customers, that's been really cool too when you see them hit against it, and it's been a fun ride. It really has been.
Now, I know that the screens, at least the ones I saw, they probably would have been DVD initially when you started out. How has that technology improved? Has it gone to, 4K, 8K, whatever pixelations they're using now? How clear is the image on the screen?
Yeah, it is pretty clear. We do have to update our videos because some of them are a little bit on the older side,
Mm.
which would mean nicer new videos. But basically, I mean, the projectors. When we first started, the projectors were like 2,000 lumens, and that's the brightness, and it
Yep.
was like $2,000. And just like computers, they get cheaper and better, as years go on. So now we're using a 4,500 lumen projector for $1,000. So it's crazy how they're getting better and cheaper. Um, but yeah, I mean, everything technology is getting so much better. So you gotta just explore the new technology and see what fits and see what looks best.
I'm really interested to because given my perspective of the potential market for this product, I'm wondering what sort of steps are afoot to go more international. Is that an active thing that you're pursuing, or is it just largely across the states?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we have maybe about 50 machines international,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit more around there. We have a lot in South Korea, and then a decent amount in Canada, and then from there, they're spread, all across the world. But we're always looking to expand. So we're always actively looking, at different
Well,
markets and how we can grow.
if there's anybody on the call today who's interested in this sort of thing, we're going to be sharing the details with you a little later on in the show, where you can find Probatter and all versions of it. Now, tell me a little bit about the support network behind this, because presumably along the way they'd require maintenance and somebody to look at them and support them. How does that side of the business work?
Yeah, so we have a service department here at ProBatter, and if anything happens, you just call, email the problem or error code, and then we'll get you back up and running. We realize that downtime is loss of revenue, so we try to work with you as quick as we can. Um, and also Zoom calls. A lot of times we set up a Zoom call to get some eyes on the machine to see exactly what's going on, which helps us better understand the problem, and it enables us to fix it quicker.
Yep.
For international customers, we always recommend spare part, like a spare part kit.
Yep.
Um, there's a few little things that they don't go wrong that often, but if they do go wrong, you could be down for a few days because international, shipping is a little bit slower.
It is what
Uh,
it is. Yep.
yeah, it is what it is. So that's what we always recommend.
Now, when a new customer gets this wonderful machine, how difficult is it for them to set up? I've never used one before, and it's just about to throw a fastball at me.
Yeah.
How do I calibrate it? How do I get used to it?
Yeah, so it's funny because we used to always install the machines for all the customers.
Mm.
We had guys fly out all across the world. Basically, the guys be on the road every single week. And once COVID hit, we basically realized that we could do all this stuff by Zoom. So
Ah,
now we print
yes.
out directions, yeah, and with pictures and show them how to set it up. If they have any issues, we set up a Zoom call, get some eyes on it, show them, how to do it, and it's just made everyone's life a lot easier and a lot cheaper too.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, that's the way to go. Efficiency is the key. Now, is your PX3 the top of the line? Which one's the
It
top of the
is.
line?
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's
Correct.
the combo pitching bowling video simulator.
Yes. So the PX3 is our own three-wheel machine, and that's the one controlled by Big Color touchscreen. And that one can do baseball, softball, or cricket, or a combo like baseball, softball, or all three baseball, softball, cricket.
What's the size of the projector screen? Is it like a 3 meter by 3? How large is it?
Yes. So the regular PX3 is 100 inches wide by 75 tall. So it's like 8 by 7 or something, or along
Yep.
those lines.
Yep.
But the combo has a bigger video screen, and that one is about 11 feet wide by 10 feet high
Oh,
around there.
wow.
So, yeah, it's a much bigger video screen, and it looks a lot better. So, and we also use an upgraded projector on that one, which is like 5,500 lumens. So that one shows really, really nicely.
I can imagine the clarity in that. Now, tell me, is there an option for like a purchase situation and a lease? What is it? Just straight out purchase? How does that side work?
Yeah, so we do lease them. We use always use a third party lender, and a lot of times it's a lease to own. So it's a 5 year term typically, and then at the end of the 5 years, you pay $1 or 10% of the purchase price, and it's yours to
Mm-hmm.
keep.
Mm-hmm.
So we do a decent amount of leasing. Also, we always recommend trying your own bank as well, because a lot of times your own bank will have a lower rate and a quicker turnaround just because of the banking history you have with them.
Yep.
Um, yeah, but we could definitely do both.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, I know that different sports have different styles of balls, but you have one proprietary ball that you use in your system. Is that correct?
Yes, well, for baseball, there's two that we recommend. One is a leather baseball with Kevlar lower seams,
Mm-hmm.
and it basically lasts longer. I mean, pitch machines kind of tear apart leather baseballs pretty quick, so this ball's gonna last a lot longer. And then we also have a white dimple ball with red seams on it. It looks like a real baseball, and we recommend that because that lasts a lot longer and it's a little bit more accurate. So that's a really good ball.
I'm loving this call. Thank you so very much for sharing it. I've already got much more of an insight into Probatter Sports and all the different options. Now, tell us a little bit about your partnership with ECMMS to I guess your growth needs.
Yes, they've been wonderful. They're the largest contract manufacturer in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They do all the Apple products, the iPhones, the iPads, and it just made our life a whole lot easier. We used to always manufacture here, and manufacturing here it was good in a
Painful.
way and cheaper, but it was kind of a pain. I mean, it's you're always waiting for trucks, you're ordering parts, you just
Mm,
just it's just a lot of work. So now what we can do is outsource all of that and just worry about growing the business, worry about sales and marketing and how we're gonna, get to the next step, which has really freed up a lot of my time as well, which has been really nice.
well, tell me a bit about the next step because I'm always wondering what goes on in somebody like your mind. You know, you're obviously very busy. You'd always be thinking. I wonder, is it very difficult for you to rest at night? Do you do you have a busy mind?
Yeah, it runs around a lot. I typically wake up with an email reminders and notes, and uh, but
No.
I guess that's a good thing. But yeah, we're always looking to grow. Like I said, I mean, maybe explore different sports. How can we make our machine better, faster, more durable, cheaper to produce, all that.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
so you always got to get better. If you don't, then someone else will and take over your sales, which you never want.
Well, this is the thing. You'd be obviously the face of the business in many respects. You have some sort of a mascot or anything like that, or are you doing all the networking? And if so, how important are those relationships to growing your business? Do you think?
It's very important. Yeah,
Mm.
networking is huge. I mean, just getting to Major League Baseball, for example. I mean, it's hard to get in that market. It's you can call them all day long, and they won't pick up the phone. But if you have a connection in there, then
Yep.
it's easier to get in.
Yep.
There's no guarantee they're going to buy it, but it's at least they'll take the phone call, which is so it's important. So networking is definitely very important.
It's just a beautiful thing about the internet and shows like this is just that 6 degrees of separation. There only needs to be one
Yeah,
person to listening to the show today, and hopefully give you a call, make reach out to you, and take this business one step further because it's sure and certain deserves it. Now, tell me a little bit about the coaches' corner. I know that you've got a lot going on in there.
yeah. So basically, a lot of our customers, or most of our customers, are coaches. So we like to share different training ideas. What works for you, different ideas you can use in practice to make your practices more efficient. Just different tools like that really allow all the coaches and players to get better. That's the name of the game, for us.
Is that possibly another machine dedicated specifically for them? How does that side work? I can see a potential there.
For the coaches,
Yeah.
yeah, it's really the same machine.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's really the same machine. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's certainly it's fascinating just the way you've melded technology with the love of sports, and everybody globally loves different types of sports, and it's a real credit to you all of the things that you're doing with the business. But now, when somebody wants to connect with you and they go to your website, what exactly will they find across your website?
Yes. So our website is probatter.com, And if you go to the website, you can see pictures and video of what we can offer. Um, Sometimes it's hard spending. Our machines range from 8 grand to about 28,000. So
Right.
a lot of times people want to see video, they want to see pictures, they want to see a visual of what it's like before they spend that much money.
Mm.
Uh, so we make sure we have video of the machine. We also have additional videos and pictures if people, want that as well.
Hmm.
But also has descriptions of what we can offer, pricing, benefits, all that good stuff.
So, do you have like a central place that people locally can come visit you, and do they use that service, or will you travel to them to do demos?
So we have a combo machine in our back warehouse that we can give
Mm.
demos with. We don't have a batting cage set up. We used to have a batting cage set up, but we took it down because it's more manufacturing now, or
Yep.
it was before this new relationship with Foxconn. But yeah, but we also have customers all across the world. So if someone calls up from Wichita, Kansas, for example, I can direct them to a customer within hopefully within a half an hour, 2 hour drive.
And there's that networking effect going on again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, usually customers are very accommodating with other people looking at their machine as long as they're not direct competitors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
That love of sports is the common thread, isn't it?
yeah, but it's always nice. I mean, having a customer. If I have a customer, in Oklahoma that wants to talk to other customers, it's nice to have a list of customers that he can call and kind of just pick their brain of what works for them, what hasn't worked, where you get your nets from, where you get your turf from, all that stuff. So it's been a nice little customer list that we have, and it's really appreciated, for all of our customers.
Fantastic. Look, this has been a wonderful call. If anybody on the show today is interested in this, I'm sure there are plenty of people, no matter where you are in this big, wide, wonderful world of ours. Now, where else can people connect with you and learn more and maybe talk with you directly, Adam?
Yeah. So again, the website's probatter.com, and you could always call the office, which is 203-874 2500. And also, if you want to email, easiest and quickest email is sales@probetter.com.
Well, there you
And
go. That
that can
that
help you
wraps
out.
that wraps it up pretty well, right there. If you're on the call today and you're going to want to learn more and connect with Adam, certainly click the link below this post. As always, no matter where you find this interview, you're going to find the links back to Probatter Sports, which is at probatter.com. And with all that being said, Adam, this has been just one of those wonderful calls. Thank you very much for the insight into Probatter Sports, and thank you very much for joining me on the My Future Business show today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.